Over 5 years ago, I launched a successful Kickstarter campaign. Now I run a Shopify pre-order app, which this year surpassed 1 million pre-orders processed. The question I want to answer today is, should you choose crowdfunding or pre-orders? The truth, there is a right choice depending on your situation. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 3 key questions to find out the best path for your launch. So question number 1, do you already have an existing audience? Now, this is the biggest single factor in my opinion. If you already have a customer base, crowdfunding could actually get in your way, as you'll be sending traffic to someone else's domain and someone else's setup, as opposed to your usual process that you're familiar with. So if you have an audience, you may want to lean towards pre-orders, as you can just use that pre-order campaign as one more thing to build your brand, your audience, and things like your analytics snippet and the things that have got you to where you are already. Conversely, if you don't have an audience, in my opinion, Kickstarter's superpower is its inbuilt one. So there are millions of people on Kickstarter who have used Kickstarter, as well as regular ones who use it monthly. And Kickstarter will actually put you in front of their traffic without you paying any advertising fee or anything like that. If you were going to go out on your own, you could have zero SEO. And as long as your product is somewhat compelling or somewhat original, Kickstarter will actually send you traffic from their website. Question number 2, are you starting a brand or a one-off project? It's important to ask yourself what you're launching. Are you launching the start of a brand, which you hope to grow and be long-term, or are you starting a one-off passion project? This is because of things like platform fees, not building your SEO or AI SEO footprint. You're just delaying that by starting on Kickstarter. Whereas if you are doing a one-off project, that stuff doesn't matter. What you really want is the maximum amount of audience in the shortest amount of time, and that would be crowdfunding, whether that's Indiegogo or Kickstarter. They're absolutely Kickstarter native brands. For example, it's very popular in the gaming space, gadgets, comic books, that kind of thing. But it is more of a minority. A lot of brands will want to establish their own website and sell from there instead of a third-party platform. Although you do have to balance out with Kickstarter probably being a bit faster to get set up and is more of a kind of one path to follow, so there's less decisions that you have to make. Now, let's quickly look through a grid of what you can do on Kickstarter versus pre-orders on Shopify, and we can compare and you can get a better idea of the limitations. For example, Kickstarter has a maximum campaign time of 60 days, and they also dictate page design and styling. Crowdfunding platforms impose their own fees, rules, and timeframes, whereas if you launch from your own site, you don't have any of those issues. Question number 3. How much control do you want? So looking at this comparison chart, first column is Shopify with pre-product, the pre-order app that I work on. And then second is Kickstarter, although Indiegogo would be relatively similar, although they don't have the same strict kind of campaign timeframes. So host on your own domain, Shopify only, complete control of the product page, that's obviously Shopify only. Kickstarter pages, they all follow a similar layout and format, which, as I mentioned, does speed things up, but it definitely limits how much you can express your brand. Inbuilt audience, nope. For Shopify and pre-product, you have to start that off yourself. Kickstarter, yep, like I mentioned earlier, I think that's their superpower, and especially funneling the right section of their audience to you. Campaign can exceed 60 days with Shopify. Yeah, of course, you can pre-sell for as long as you like. With Kickstarter, nope, 60 days is their limit. Can you control when to trigger charges? With Kickstarter, they'll automatically trigger charges at a certain time. I forget when that is, but I don't think you dictate that. Or maybe you dictate that initially when you say you're ready to launch. Something like that. With Shopify and pre-product, it's completely up to you when to trigger charges, and you can stagger them. You could fulfill and charge the first 100 units 1 month and then the next 100 the month afterwards. And you can also do things like continuously have a pre-order campaign and just kind of pre-sell and fulfill in batches. Moving on, can you charge deposits? Nope, you can't on Kickstarter. Yes, you can with Shopify and pre-product. Can you charge the full amount, which is not as great if you've got really big lead times, but is really great for getting cash flow. So, funding future orders. Physical goods businesses are super cash flow heavy. You can with Shopify. No, you can't with Kickstarter. Deferred charge. So that's what we talked about with vaulting cards at checkout. Both Shopify and Kickstarter support that. Can you send emails to customers on demand? So this could be updates about the campaign, or when maybe you've changed your estimated shipping statement, and you can do that with both platforms. Mandatory fees? No. Actually, with pre-product depends on your plan, so I guess it's not mandatory. You can either pay just commission rate of all your pre-orders, or you can have a fixed rate that you pay monthly and have zero commission. With Kickstarter, it's just one size fits all. It's commission, and I believe it's free to launch a campaign. There's no kind of fixed costs involved. Google Analytics tracking, of course, Shopify supports it, and Kickstarter actually do too, and they've supported it for a while. You'll see a lot of these kind of third-party crowdfunding platforms, and they can kind of make sense of this data for you as well, which can be helpful, especially when kind of you're using affiliates or something like that. Offer early bird discount. Yep. Kickstarter is famous for its different tiers of rewards, which can be really nice for building urgency to those initial backers. You can do similar things with Shopify and pre-products. And last of all, show an up-to-date funds raised bar. Pre-products, no. Shopify, Kickstarter, yes. Although it's not quite like Kickstarter's, but we actually have a free little kind of crowdfunding progress bar generator, which is kind of designed because we often get asked about crowdfunding. We say we're a pre-order application, but a lot of people still try to use us in a crowdfunding way, just from our own site. So we send them to this page and they can kind of generate the code by just selecting options and bars. So to summarize, here's a quick decision guide. If you have an audience, pre-orders win. If you're testing a new idea and you think it's just going to be a one-off project, crowdfunding makes most sense. If you care about control, speed, and brand building, then pre-orders give you the edge. And by the way, if you are a new brand, there's nothing to stop you crowdfunding first, taking advantage of that inbuilt Kickstarter audience, and then transitioning to taking pre-orders from your website. And that's actually quite a common pattern. If you're at all interested in crowdfunding and you want this to be a long-term brand, then maybe that's the play. Maybe you launch a Kickstarter campaign and then start channeling all your customers to your site for future pre-orders until you're ready to ship. And if you're tempted to try pre-orders out and you use Shopify, BigCommerce, or WooCommerce, the app that I work on, Pre-Products, is a pre-order app with a zero fixed cost plan. That means we won't charge you anything unless you make money, unless you take pre-orders. And we also have some other lower commission fixed rate plans as well. And other than that, I hope this video was helpful. And if it has been, I'd love a like or subscribe. Cheers.